Hey everyone, welcome back to the Dairy Raid, and next up in our Play of the Day series where we're taking a look at the plays and the schemes that could help propel the Badgers to a successful 2025 season. We're going to look at the defense and talk about bringing pressure, or in the previous two seasons under Luke Fickell and Mike Tressel, the lack of pressure. With a front seven and really an entire defense as athletic as we have, the pressure coming from the defense has got to come from more than just brute force. And that was a defensive style that we were able to get away with when we had NFL caliber defensive players, or more importantly, we had multiple years to develop that talent. In the new age of college football, where you have less time and you've got to get players on the field maybe before they're ready, or however you want to put it, you have to think more about scheming open that pressure. It's almost like drawing up a run play, but from the defense's point of view. And so what we're going to talk about here with a couple of examples of pressure schemes that could be incorporated by the defensive coaching staff that can create pressure and can create trap situations against opposing offenses without committing 6, 7, 8 men into the pressure and therefore leaving our secondary out to dry. And we're in a situation this year where we're going to be having young players play at the corner position in particular. You don't want to have defensive schemes that are going to leave those players out to dry when you don't get home with that pressure. Hopefully, you're going to get both. You're going to get the pressure and you're going to get the coverage to create that situation. So I have a couple examples here of defensive schemes that we saw in the spring and how using these simple styles of pressure, we can create reactions within the offense, and we can actually use the aggressiveness that we're trying to preach and the natural playmaking ability, the natural athleticism of our defense to help the defense actually stop offenses, which is something we did not do last season. Okay, so let's get into it here. We're back into huddle. And so right up at the beginning here, I have a basic 2-4 front set up. What we saw during the spring game was lots of different looks. Obviously, you can't use spring ball as a game planning guide to what they're actually going to use. You know, they had a script, it's a practice, and they wanted to give a lot of different looks. But the fact that you could see them actually having success with these different looks during the spring gives you an idea of what they can use that for in the future as part of a game plan. So the first play we're going to have up here is going to be from 2-4 personnel. Okay, and this is going to be against a formation that we saw a lot from the offense during the spring, which is a 3-by-1 condensed formation. And what we are going to work here is just a basic 5-man pressure, but we're going to bring that pressure from a bad angle and give the offense a bad trigger. And that's actually going to set up a good play where we can rally to the football. So, and again, like I said with the first video, talking about the offense, the terminology that I'm going to be using in this video is my terminology. It is likely not even close to what they use with the Badgers. Obviously, I call my personnel differently, but you can see the moving pieces, and in your own mind, you can picture who all these individual players are. All right, so this first play we're going to put up, we're going to call over weak stinger. And for me, over, we're going to set our defensive tackle to a 3-tech outside shoulder of the guard, our nose inside shade, weak side shade of the center. Our 2 outside linebackers are up on the line. We're going to play them a little bit wider than we did last year, just so we can play hard off the edge, but without giving up too much in terms of the positioning interior on the gap. So over is the front, weak is the defensive line movement or the stunt, the slant, whatever you want to call it. And so we're going to work interior across, cross face, and through. Now we're looking for open close. If what I mean by that, if let's say our defensive tackle here, if the center steps down, then we're going to look to cross his face and work around to his, it'd be the center's right side. If the center steps away, then we want to get skinny off the guard and get vertical. Same situation here. We're going to be aiming for the outside shoulder of the tackle. If he widens, we're going to get skinny and get vertical. If he steps down, we're going to look to cross face and get around. Okay, from this position here, our rock, which for me is the weak side outside linebacker, we are going to be reading the footwork here. We're going to take our read steps across. And when we read pass, he's going to drop out and he's going to look to become a wall player in coverage. And we're going to talk about what we're going to do coverage-wise with that later. All right, so that is the defensive line front movement. I'm sorry, we're going to have our outside linebacker here. He's going to be working the same thing. Is when he gets if he gets a down block, he's going to look to get skinny and get vertical there. If he steps out, okay, he's going to engage and then he's going to cross face. And the reason why we want this outside linebacker, or Sam, the situation to engage outside, even though he's going inside, is because he's going to set up the blitz here from our stinger, which is our nickelback. Okay, so what we can do, one thing with this blitz here to make it a little bit quicker in the timing is if we get motion, we can use that as a trigger to time our blitz a little bit, where when we see this guy start to move across the formation, we can start moving our feet inside parallel to the line of scrimmage, and then on the snap we're going to go. Okay, and when we're going off the edge here, we're going to be reading how this Sam linebacker engages this tackle. And what we want to do is we want to put this tackle in a situation where he can't take both and he has to take the first threat. And the first threat in this situation is going to be the Sam linebacker, because he would have the quickest shot to the quarterback. So we're going to slant inside, and then our stinger is going to blitz, but he's blitzing, working to get deep as the deepest man. He's not necessarily, this is not necessarily a pressure to sack the quarterback. This is a pressure to elicit a response. Okay, and stick with me here. So when we get into reading the second level with the quarterback in the situation, and we look at how the defense is set up from the offensive point of view, we're indicating right here the Mike linebacker is the Mike linebacker. So we're going to be setting the protection. We're going to split slide, half slide our front, meaning we're going to slide to our right, offensive right, defensive left, A gap, B gap, C gap, and then we're going to be covered, which is going to mean this linebacker here is for the running back. Now, in a situation where we saw this play in the spring, the running back actually was swinging out anyways. So there was no hot read on this linebacker. If the linebacker blitzed, then we would be going hot. But there was no hot read because the linebacker didn't move. So you would think that would actually help in protection, but what's going to end up happening, because we get this pressure off the edge, we do not give the quarterback time to go through his progression. And in this particular play, they were looking to run a spot concept where they're going to run a little escort here. They're going to run the number 2 receiver on a clearing route, and they're going to want to sit inside. With this kind of look, this would be open all day just by the alignment and the spacing of the receivers and the defense. But because we got nothing here, so when the quarterback turned his eyes out to look here, the first thing and the only thing he saw was this nickel coming off the edge. And then when he turns his eyes to look inside to hit the quick spot here, all he could see is the Sam linebacker. So what does he do? He dumps the ball out in space. And what we end up getting is we can just triangulate to the ball, and we can work Mike linebacker working inside shoulder. We can work corner working outside shoulder. We can work the field safety as our fill player, and we can have our backside force here. So we trigger. We do not get to the quarterback on this play. It's not necessarily designed to get to the quarterback, but we trigger a throw behind the line of scrimmage in a situation where there is only one person blocking, and we have 3 defenders who can rally to the football, and that's exactly what we get. We get a situation where the ball is out quickly, and we peel and we fill from behind. So this is a great way that we gained pressure by only rushing 4, because since our rock here red pass, he's going to drop the wall on the back side because he's working in tandem with the corner. Now, we're not going to talk a huge amount about coverage in this because we are going to talk coverage the next time we talk about defense. But what we're running here is a basic box coverage. And what we're looking at is our corner is going to take the first player that releases to the outside. Our inside linebacker is going to take the first player who releases to the inside, and our free safety is going to take, or our field safety is going to take the first to release vertical, and then we're going to rotate middle hole here from our boundary safety, and then we're working a situation where the corner has number 1, everything up and out, and our rock is working to wall off to keep anything like a slant from coming on the front side or on the back side. But because we got the pressure we wanted in this situation, the ball was thrown quickly and we were able to rally to the ball. That's a way we can bring pressure by forcing the offense to make decisions faster than they wanted to. All right, so next up, we are going to take a look at a pressure look from a 3-down look that can give you similar outcome without bringing a huge amount of players and still bringing drawn up the defense and a new offensive formation. The Badgers are now in this look. They're in a 3-down look, a 3-3 look. And this is the tight front, a very popular front that is used against spread offenses because what it allows you to do is to have a wide covered surface with players in the box, but you are using speed to contain the offensive skill position players and to keep the defense or the offense from gaining the edge to the outside. All right, so with this look, what we are going to do, I call this one tight Tom weak stash. Okay, so tight is the front, Tom is the rotation down where we're going to bring the Mike linebacker down on the edge on the weak side. If it was the Will linebacker, we would call that toe, but in this particular case, we're going to call it Tom, and then we're going to rotate out of it. So just like we did before, we are going to have a three-man, and huddle is being weird, a three-man slant. And again, the same theory applies. We're going to cross face, and then we're going to read the next man down. If he goes away, we're going to get skinny. If he attaches, we are going to try to cross face. Okay, same thing in nose. We're going to work the guard. He opens, we're going to get skinny. He closes, we're going to cross face. Okay, and in this situation here, we are going to send a combo blitz between our stinger, our nickel here, and our Sam linebacker. And depending on the timing, you can work it where we go the Sam first and the stinger second. In a situation like this, we could slant and we go stinger or a Sam short and stinger high. Or we can go a situation where we go Sam high and we go stinger low. Whatever you want to do, we're trying to elicit a reaction from the offense. In this particular case, what we're going to work is we're going to work Sam low, and we're going to work, again, stinger high to get a situation here because we want to try to force the offense to throw the ball out in space, okay? And coverage-wise, we're going to gain an advantage because usually against a 3-by-1 look, you see defenses in usually some variation of cover 3, and that's exactly what we're going to do here. We're going to float our field side safety down, and he's going to be thinking first, seam. If we got nothing there, we're going to look to get to the hook to curl. If we get nothing there, we're going to rotate down to the flat. Our will linebacker, if we read pass, he's thinking, I'm not letting anything from here cross my face to the middle of the field. So we're going to look to create a wall. Our middle linebacker is looking short hole. First, he's going to wall, make sure we don't get anything cross face from the weak side outside receiver, and then he's looking hole. Our boundary safety is looking over the middle, and then we are thinking deep third on either side. Okay, so pre-snap, the offense maybe thinks that by this alignment, we can get the ball out into space quickly because all we have to do is get around this 5-man surface. We're 2-on-1 right here if we're thinking blocking wise, so we can get the ball out here real fast. Also, situation that we might think we could get an advantage with the offense is some kind of switch release here and creating a pivot point right here where we can read this space. But because we are rotating off of the snap and we know this rotation is coming, we create 2 levels of pressure and we elicit the response of the offense, and we are going in already rotating our defensive coverage to take away the 2 holes that could come from a look like this. And if you get a situation where we have the back coming out of the backfield, now we are bringing to what the defense looks like, or the offense looks like, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6-man pressure. We're actually only bringing 5, but we're going to be at least +1, if not +2, because since we're starting in a 4-eye here, there's a very good chance that this tackle is going to step down. We would be reading hot here, but because we get this late, or we get the pressure from the outside, we can trigger a bad response and either get the ball dumped out here, or we could get the ball dumped out right here into the rotating safety or into the rotating linebacker. So these are just 2 examples of how we can create quick pressure, elicit a bad response from the offense, get the ball in space, and then again, get in a situation where we can rally to the football. And that is where this defense is going to shine, is if we can rally to the football and just run. And with guys like Christian Allegro and Tackett Curtis here, with Daryl Peterson in his new role as a more of a defensive end rush oriented outside linebacker, I think we have the personnel and the mindset to create this pressure with simple schemes. If we can also get situations where we get these interior guys who can create pass rush on their own, or we can get any of these outside linebackers who can create pressure on their own, that makes it that much easier. So it's a step forward that we have to take, and it's a way to get that go big or go home attitude without sacrificing behind it. All right, so that is our first look at the defense and previewing the defense for the 2025 season. Next time we do one of these videos, we are going to talk about special teams, and we're going to talk about the rollout punt. It is something that I have been asked about since the rollout punt came to Wisconsin. What is the point? What is the advantage of it? Why do we do it when everybody else does the quote-unquote normal punt? We're going to get into that as somebody who's been using the rugby and the shield punt for 17 years. I definitely can see the advantages of it and why the Badgers are using it. So that'll be next time. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you then.